The Sooners start off the spring game right by getting a commitment from a four-star safety out of Lewisville, Texas. Let's talk about the safety, plus a few crystal balls that came down the line after the spring game. All that coming up here in about 10 seconds. Spring game brought us the good stuff. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. Thank you for pulling up here to the YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the commitment from four-star safety Jaydan Hardy. We'll look at a little bit of his film and his measurables, and then we're going to dive into a few crystal balls that came down the line after Saturday's spring game. So you want to make sure you stick around to see who those players are. But before we do that, hop in the comments. Let me know, did you attend the spring game? Or did you watch it? And I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. If you are new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell notification. We're dropping a bunch of OU content here. Little bit of Colorado content that's about to turn up now their spring game is over. And of course, college football in general as we grow the channel. We're about 8,600 subs, pushing for 10,000 by the end of the summer. And the only way we're going to do it is with you, the people. So thank you all for pulling up. So let's dive into this commitment that I'm pretty excited about. Because when I watched the film, it made me think of another recruit that actually got me started really into making these videos. So let's dive and talk about it. Jaydan Hardy, my man, hit that commitment button. We talked about him at the end of March in another video. I had some technical difficulties with that video. It's right here where the film of his had sound and I didn't realize it, so I won't bore you with it. We had to scrap that portion of it, but we're going to talk about here his film, and it's actually done right this time, I promise. So let's look at his measurables, as well as, remember, in the comments below, in the description, my apologies, you will find his links to his social media so you all can go show him some love. You know, we love showing these kids love, especially recruits, because that potential is always great. We want to make them feel like, you know, the warm and fuzzies of family when they come here to Oklahoma, which will also hopefully help attract some of the other players. So let's dive into his measurables right now. So Hardy is here listed around 6'170". I pulled up his measurables from On3 because we're going to see all of his ratings. He is a consensus four-star athlete, about 170th in the country. One of the top players to play high school football right now in America. And he's one of the top players in Texas, ranked about 33rd and 14th in the safety spot. So he's an athlete that's monstrous, that's got a lot of potential. And out of Lewisville, Texas. So, you know, we're definitely recruiting heavy in the Dallas area. And that's one area that we plan on pulling as many stars out as possible. And so I'm pretty stoked to see what this young man can provide for us. But the one thing that jumped out to me, and I mentioned this in the introduction, there's a player that I see in him, and that's Makari Seatbelt Vickers. Like, I'm stoked about Vickers. I'm going to do another video on him about his performance here at the spring game and what I see out of him this coming season. But Vickers got me stoked when I watched his film, and that really is what kickstarted this channel for the most part. I mean, I've had the channel, did some stuff, but seeing Vickers play, my goodness. And so as you're watching Jake go out here and play it, he can return the ball. He's comfortable with finding holes. He can break tackles. He's a pure all-around athlete. So he's one of those that could potentially go out there and actually play in the return game as well as play hardcore at the safety spot. And so you know we're pretty stacked there. If you watched the spring game, you saw Peyton Bowen do some things, and he played at DB. So honestly, what's crazy to me is that our DBs and our safeties, I mean, it's really interchangeable. Our secondary is fully interchangeable. We've got players that can play both sides. And you see here with Hardy, he can play both sides as well. He can play wide receiver. He can play defense. He goes out there with an intensity, and I love his hips. I love the way he moves when he's back there in the secondary. But I also love seeing him out here at wide receiver, making these catches and seeing the ball and getting it at the high points. That's something that you're going to need to be successful long term. But watch him. You know, when you see players like this, who does this remind you of when you go comps for old school Sooners? Who jumps out to you? At his height and stuff, style, I mean, I can see a little bit of like JT Thatcher or something like that. I'm going back. I think Makari reminded me a lot more of Reggie Smith, but I can see a lot of Thatcher here with our boy Jaydan Hardy, but we won't go too far into ordaining him as one of those players yet. But he does have a lot of potential, which I'm stoked about. We need more athletes on both sides of the ball, and we're getting this with him. And honestly, he looks like a player similar to DJ Graham that can go on the offensive side if we really need him to, or he can, hold it up on the defensive side. So he's a pure athlete. He can hit. He likes to tackle, wrap up, and he gets to where you need him to get. And he takes carries, takes end arounds. He does it all. So this is the latest commit. Adds to our class of additional 4-stars. We're starting to move up that ladder. Don't worry. I know a lot of you have jumped in the comments asking about the defensive linemen. Go look at our competition. We're competing with the likes of the Bamas of the world, the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Clemsons. And I think Clemson's the only one that's actually got a defensive lineman to commit, and that's recently. So we've got time. It's going to happen. A lot of these players are probably going to commit closer to school starting in August, is what I'm hearing with a couple of them. And if that is the case, I'm expecting them to do their official visits, do their thing, and we continue to prevail and win some of these battles. Defensive linemen, especially at the elite level, is a lot harder to recruit than it is going for these skills positions, because it's honestly more skills guys than there are dominant defensive linemen in the country, especially in this class. So keep your eyes out. We're going to talk a lot about them here in the near future. So let's jump into some of the crystal balls that came down the line that's got me stoked as we leave post spring game. So we got some athletes as well as a nice defensive lineman with a crystal ball right after we had the spring game. So let's take a look at some of these. First and foremost, I want to look at the 3-star athlete that looks like he will come in as a linebacker, and that's Michael Boganowski. Linebacker, athlete, 6'2", 190 out of Junction City High School in Junction City, Kansas. He's been hit with some crystal balls with us in the past, and we got another one that came down the line right after the spring game. So he was in town. He had fun. He's happy with the school, and it looks like we've got a really good chance to reel him in. So, of course, I'm excited because we need more linebacker play, big linebacker play, and I think that he's one of those players that can potentially be something special down the line. So that's one defensive player we can add to the list. Next on there, we got 5-star wide receiver Brian Wesco. He's a 5-star 24/7. He's a consensus 4-star top 30 player in the nation. So I expect him to end up finishing as a 5-star wide receiver across the board. Maybe not a plus, but he'll be a consensus one, being he's top 30, and I think he'll move up even more. Wesco's another Texas player, and 6'2", 170 beast of a player. We put up a video on him about 2 months ago when we first heard wind of him getting a crystal ball, but another one came this direction as it's becoming solidified that he wants to be a Sooner, and he's one that I would like to get my hands on, mainly because of his speed and just his ability to get out there and just get open. We need more of those, and it looks like some of these national recruiting analysts are giving us the nod for him. So, I'm pretty excited about that. Adding to him at wide receiver is Zion Kearney. Now, Zion Kearney's out of Mission City, Texas, another Texas athlete. Flipping from A&M is one of the Texas A&M insiders. He's saying, nope, A&M's not going to win him. He's definitely going to be at Oklahoma. 4-star consensus wide receiver. And at a High-Terra High School, top 60 player in the country. And so we're getting into those top 100 players on the consensus side. Now, that's something that should get y'all stoked, because the more of them we get, the much better we're going to be as a team. And it looks like we're going to start landing a lot of them as well as those diamonds in the rough. So no reason to complain about who we're getting or what we're getting, but I'm telling you, he's one that's special. And the last one that I really wanted to highlight after this one is Joseph Jonah Ajonye, defensive lineman out of Oak Ridge High School in Conroe, Texas. Another Texas defensive lineman, big boy. There's a picture of him with Stoney, David Stone, that's at IMG Academy, a.k.a. also from Oklahoma City area, Dale City, and Nigel Smith. You see all of them with Todd Bates? I'm sensing Bates wins all 3 of them. And that's when we're going to have a monstrous defensive line for this class. So we're coming for that number 1 spot. Ajonye is a consensus 4-star defensive lineman, plays at a very high level, high motor, 6'3", about 255, one that's going to continue to grow. He has a good frame, very strong, and he's one of those players that I anticipate will be able to walk out there and really do some damage. So you should be excited about that. Top 130 player in the nation. Right now, he is a high riser. Some are, I think 24/7 has him as a 3-star, but he's moving closer to a 4-star every single day with his performance at these camps and stuff. And so as you see more teams really pile on trying to get a hold of him, you're going to start noticing that his star ratings are going to go up because everybody's offering players like him. So those right there, crystal balls that we got down the line after spring game, I'm expecting 3 players to commit very soon. I've heard locks on them. I've heard some silent commits, and we're waiting just for official announcements. So I can't really say who, just because, I want to be respectful to the players and their process and them going in there and actually doing a video and commitment and social media posts, whatever they can do. Everybody can do things. And this is something exciting for them, being young and being coveted. And so I want them to enjoy that process. What we're going to do here is say that we've heard about 3 or 4 players that are going to lock, and we're stoked that they're going to come down the line. And as soon as we hear about it, of course, I'm going to drop another video just like I am now. Little late on this one, but spring game happened. I hope y'all was enjoying that. I was out and about enjoying it also. And so the goal is to get live later tonight at about 9. It's going to be late because I'm actually in Tulsa. So because of that, once I get back in town, the goal is to go jump right on the live. So hop in the comments. Let me know what's your thoughts on those crystal balls, as well as the latest commitment from Jaydan Hardy. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell notification, and join the family. We love to have you all in the community. I love interacting with you all in the comments. So much fun. Some of y'all like going back and forth. It's always a good time, and I would love to continue that. Now, YouTube says there's a couple videos for y'all to watch. I highly recommend it because I picked them, and we will talk hopefully later tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.